Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back and happy Friday. I am your host for the week, Dan the Heartthrob, joined here with my co hosts, Nick the Dungeon Master
What's up, guys?
and Nico the Movie Master.
I'm your Huckleberry.
What's going on, everybody?
All right, first and foremost, what's everybody drinking today? Nico, what are you drinking?
Oh, buddy, I got something we've all been waiting for to hit the Illinois market for a while. I got a Humex Hard Nectar, strawberry flavored specifically.
Oh man, yeah, we've been waiting for those for a while now. I'm glad to see they're finally out there.
They are delicious.
How about you, Nick? What are you drinking?
I got Cantaritos by Juaritos.
Oh, good choice, good choice. And I am having myself a Stella Artois. A little fancy today.
Fancy man.
Ooh.
Right. And then we got something fun for you guys this week. Today we'll be talking about cryptids and urban legends.
Yeah, guys. So if you were listening in last week with the with all the conspiracy theories and got your tinfoil hat still strapped on, keep it strapped on for these just in case.
We go hand in hand a little bit. All right,
A little bit, yeah.
I'll start us off with, I think, one of the first cryptids that I had ever heard of. Well, being Hispanic, it's pretty common. Not I wouldn't say common, but it's pretty big in our culture. Is the chupacabra, which is the goat sucker, which targets cattle, goats, and other farm animals. It'll bleed them dry and leave two little holes in their neck, just like a vampire. So I think this where did this originate? It says seems to have originated out of Puerto Rico, and most of its sightings are actually from Puerto Rico, Mexico, and then southern United States, some in the Caribbean, and then Central and South America. So it's usually described as some sort of dog looking thing with two big front teeth, reptilian and alien like looking, almost the size of a small bear. So when I first heard of this, I mean, I think it was like the prime days of YouTube, man. So you had like so many videos going around of all these most of them have been debunked by now, but all those horrible videos, horrible quality videos of shit, and half of them were probably dogs. But yeah, I think that that was the first cryptid that I really got into. How about Nick? What's one of the earliest ones you remember looking into?
I'm actually going to piggyback off yours because I believe the Chupacabra was one of the ones. I think just because of the look of it, it was well known. I don't know if I want to say well known, but I think I ran across that one first before I started really learning about cryptids. And of course, like you said, the early days of YouTube and like blurry. And why is it every video is blurry or every picture is blurry of these things, right? But yeah, no, I think the Chupacabra is a really good way to start this off, Dan. But I think that was one of the first ones I came across, I suppose. I didn't really know much about that. Back when they were going around the internet or whatever. So that's the kind of what got me into looking into like urban legends and cryptids as well.
Unique is one of the earliest.
Well, definitely. I mean, I'd be remiss to say that the chupacabra wasn't one of the first that I ever like heard about. I mean, it was pretty prevalent, and especially when I was a kid. In any Hispanic household, it seemed to be like it was either La Llorona, El Cucuy, or a chupacabra was gonna come get you if you were acting up. So like, it was always like one of those. But like as time went on, obviously, kind of like it's like, oh yeah, this is a myth or whatever like that. But like like to the point where like they've done tons of like research as to what could this thing be, and it's like most of the time it ends up being like either like a big dog or wolf with mange. I've even seen things like that say like a bear with mange looks like what people would imagine the chupacabra look like, at least the like dog version of it. But as far as the like reptilian sort of alien looking one, nobody really knows where that came from. So I would have to say that. If not that, I mean, the one that everybody probably hears about is Bigfoot, right?
Yep.
You know, Bigfoot's like it's the granddaddy of all cryptids, or it's between that and the Loch Ness monster. I feel like, or like the biggest urban legend slash like cryptids that are out there. So much so that like there are other the aside from there potentially being multiple Bigfoot like creatures with their own names and stuff like that, people have gone so far as to say that Bigfoot's like the missing link between humanity and Neanderthals, basically.
Could see that.
Yeah, I mean that would definitely make sense because I think every time I've seen that brought up, like where we came from Neanderthals, it's just like, did we go straight to human right after that, or is there anything in between that? Because it seems like a big jump, but then you see stuff like Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the Yetis, and you're like,
So
I can definitely see that.
I have a question for both of you then. Is that how the chupacabra became an urban legend where like parents telling their kids like, oh hey, if you don't behave, chupacabra's gonna come like nip at your toes in bed at night?
That was always the case for me. Like whether it was my parents or like my neighbors or my friends' parents and stuff like that. You go over for a sleepover and you guys are acting a little rowdy or you guys are getting a little loud or whatever at night when you should be sleeping or you should be settling down. Mom or dad will come into the room and be like, "Hey, calm down. It's time for bed or it's time to relax. You keep acting like that. You guys are gonna wake up the chupacabra and he's gonna come and it's gonna take from you guys."
Oh man, yeah, I think it's definitely one of those where I think parents probably took advantage of the fact that it was like this scary creature and kind of turned it into something to keep kids in check. I mean, that's how I heard of it. My mom would always talk about it, or my aunt. Like Nico said, if you had sleepovers and you're being rowdy, and then I think after I looked into it, it turns out I think it was in 1975. Yeah, they had like a really bad series of like livestock killings in Puerto Rico, and it was like all the livestock were dead and they were all drained of their blood. And I think that's like one of the first reportings of this. And I think it was something that started like in like farming towns after a lot of farmers have been finding like their livestock dead and drained of blood for some reason. And then once Hispanic parents got wind of that, they're like, this will really set our kids straight.
I guess the only reason I ask is I grew up in a pretty 100% Italian household, and we never were. It was never like, oh, something's gonna come get you. It was always like, oh, Santa Claus is watching you. So I'm just like, okay, whatever. But it's just interesting that like, because I would imagine like certain like Krampus, like for what do you call it? Is it German?
I believe, yeah.
I think
believe
so.
it's German.
He's an urban legend for Germany or something like that. And, you know, when kids are misbehaving around Christmas time, it's Krampus is gonna come stuff you in his sack and he's gonna take you away. And I never got that, so
Yeah, no, there's definitely like there's like two schools of how you raise the kids. Either you scared them with punishment of not getting something, or you scared them with punishment of something's gonna come and get them.
Good old fear mongering.
yeah,
Yeah, in Hispanic households, bro, that's like the number one. Like I said, it's either El Cucuy, La Llorona, or the Chupacabra. It's either the goat sucker, the monster, which is just what El Cucuy is. It's just some boogeyman, basically. And then La Llorona, which is like the freaking the urban legend of like a woman who like drowned her children in the river. It's like, okay.
I'm
was
familiar with that
pretty
story.
crazy.
Oh, I'm familiar with that story.
That one is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, so crazy that they made a movie about it. So like,
Oh, no, that movie was horrible.
I never saw it. I was like, no one cares about this, dude.
It could have been good. I think the execution was just horrible, man. I hated it.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, no, I never saw it. When I saw the previews for it, I was like, no, dude, nobody's gonna give a damn about this stupid movie.
And they didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, basically the story, Nick. The story goes, and I don't remember names or nothing like that. The bare bones of this story is that there was a woman who had children, and her children misbehaved, and she couldn't handle it anymore. So she took her kids and drowned them in the river while crying and like basically begging, like, why couldn't they have just acted right? Why couldn't they have acted right? And then the way that she comes and takes her victims is you start hearing like a sobbing woman, and then she comes in the middle of the night crying, and then she takes you and drowns you in the, in the nearest body of water.
Oh yeah, no, that's a good one. I like that story. Maybe not the movie, but the story is great. It's a great urban legend.
It's pretty much a Left 4 Dead witch.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
Do you guys ever play Left 4 Dead?
Oh God, yes. Hours upon hours. Well, I should say Left 4 Dead 2 mostly. No, I played both, but I have most hours in Left 4 Dead 2.
No, yeah, I'm assuming that's probably where they got the idea for the witch. Because
I mean, that makes sense, right? She does look wet in the game too, and she cries. So I could see that for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
I think another one that's really big in Hispanic culture would be a lechuza. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Nope.
No, I've never heard of that one.
So, a lechuza is a witch owl monster. So pretty much, it's like a big, like 6 or 7 foot owl with a woman's face on it, and it, like,
oh shit!
Supposedly, it's like the form that a witch will take when they're stalking like their prey. So this is more, I would say, I think it's because I haven't heard of this until recently, until I heard about it on a podcast. So it's like more of, I think, northern Mexican, like around like the Texas's Rio Grande Valley. And yeah, I had never heard of it, and when I was listening to the podcast, I was like, "Oh shit, what the fuck?" And yeah, I mean, it sounded like a little bit of La Llorona was mixed in there, so I wonder if that's like inspired by that or not. Because in some of the stories, it says that it was once a human woman, and then committed an act of cruelty against her kids, and then it turned her into a monster, and then she started abducting children.
It sounds like it's the evolution of La Llorona?
More fear mongering to make your kids behave. But yeah, I mean, it's something. So, yeah.
Go ahead, my fault.
I was gonna say in some stories too, it said that it like targets like drunks or like drunk men who are alone. So like maybe it's fear mongering to keep you from drinking too.
Could be.
But yeah, that's another one that I recently found interesting as
Nice.
well. And yeah,
Very
I mean,
nice.
ever since then, I hear owls squeak a little bit.
Ooh, ooh,
Yeah,
oh,
oh,
no,
No.
ooh, coming for you.
hell no.
Oh man.
You just hear the tapping outside your window too. No, I think another big one that obviously we're gonna have to talk about is probably one of my favorites, the Jersey Devil.
Ooh.
I used to. I didn't live there long, but I used to live in Jersey, and I was very little. And I don't think it lasted long. I can't remember how long it was. I don't remember, but I had family that lived in New Jersey, but after like the Chupacabra Bigfoot thing, I think the Jersey Devil's another like very famous cryptid or urban legend in the States. And like the story goes that there was a mother, Mother Leeds, and this was her 13th child, and he was born like a bipedal, like horse goat creature with bat wings, horns, uh, hooves, and a forked pointy tail, like stuff like that. So, and I'm pretty sure that she, I can't remember if she like just let him loose in the forest, because that's where a lot of his sightings was like in the forest. I don't know what part of Jersey, since I think. Oh, you know what? It's Pine Barrens in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they, I guess they said part of the urban legend is that the father was the devil himself, because it was her 13th child. 13, the devil, Jersey Devil. So, but like what people hear before they see that creature is like a screeching throughout the forest reserve, and then eventually they'll see something like that with, I think it's glowing red eye. Obviously, it's red eyes. I think all the cryptids have red eyes. But yeah, I think he's the next, or he's definitely one of my favorites. I do have one that's above him, but we'll get to him later. But any what do you guys think about the Jersey Devil?
I remember the first time I heard about this was it was while I was like not as an adult, but definitely as like an older lad, like as a teenager. I'm trying to remember. I think there was a show on Spike TV where they talked about urban legends and cryptids and stuff like that.
There was, yes.
Yeah, it was like the focus of an episode, and I was like, the what? And that one was like, of all the ones that like they showed on that show, that one to me seemed like the most outlandish. I was like, it's got the freaking head of a goat and fucking bat wings and a snake tail. I was like, what in the world? Even like the graphics that they showed for the show were just like outrageous, and I'm just like, okay. Like,
for some reason, I actually believed that the Jersey Devil is a real entity for the longest time. Like, admittedly, I don't know, maybe not real entity, but like an actual story. Like this isn't like an urban legend. I felt for the longest time that this was a real thing that happened.
well, and the fact that it's been around for so long is
1909?
Even before that, it says sightings have been reported beginning in the 1700s.
Oh, okay.
So, like, which, yeah, I mean, like in America, in the infancy of the United States, like you get crazy shit like that. Like, that's kind of wild.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing too is like I'm pretty sure it was blamed for livestock killings as well. Like so they just need a reason for their, like, create a story on why their livestock is dying. It's not just dying because we're not taking care of it properly. It's dying because, the Jersey Devil's eating its guts.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Definitely.
that's a scary looking fucker right there, man.
You don't
Yeah,
want
Right.
to.
Of all the ones that like they talked about in that show, for sure, that one was like the most outlandish. There's like
Yeah,
all
'cause
these
all-
other
all
ones
the-
like could be like animals or something, but nah, this one's just like way out there.
Yeah, I was gonna say like all these other ones, you could find something that would look similar to them that exists, but I think that might be one of the only ones where it's like, where the fuck did they come up with this?
Somebody had to have seen it, right? That's the whole idea.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
it's not, I mean, you can't just make up an animal like just when you're drunk, just thinking of things, right? Somebody had to see this.
Nah.
I mean, hell, I believed it. So
Eat it.
yeah, I seen it. It was shrieking through the forest, and there were these two red eyes staring at me from beyond the tree line, and then a horse head and a goat-like body with wings and a devil's tail came through the trees, and then he chased me, but somehow I outran it.
Yeah,
No,
that
I mean,
one's
it
always
is
great.
real. No, it's real for sure. For sure. I put money on it.
What was that TV? Was it Lost Tapes? Because I know that one was a funny.
Might have been. I've never seen
Lost
that.
Tapes or Monster Quest. That was another one too.
Maybe it was Monster Quest that I'm thinking of. I don't remember exactly, but I know it was like on Spike TV because Spike had all those crazy shows that like they figured men would like, which in all honesty they weren't wrong.
I mean, listen,
I think it was Monster Quest.
it could have been. Yeah, I don't.
4 seasons.
I didn't watch Spike TV too much, so
What?
I don't know.
This was on the History Channel though.
Oh, well, then it's got to be
Maybe
real.
that's why I watched it.
It's the History Channel. It has to be real.
to be.
Okay, like you can't just make up something like the Jersey Devil and then just throw it on the History Channel. That's real.
Or the Discovery Channel.
Yeah, or yeah. If it shows up
that.
on History or Discovery, it's definitely real.
Speaking of which, this kind of ties into what we're talking about a little bit. Do you guys ever remember seeing it was a faux documentary? It wasn't a series, I don't think. Maybe it was, I don't know. But it was like it was called Dragons. I think it was called Dragons Legends Made Real or something like that. Where it was basically like supposedly the premise behind it was a documentary where there were scientists who found a dragon, like a whole dragon, frozen in ice, and they were thawing it out in order to do like an autopsy on it and see like what made it work and stuff. And so they went through like billions of years of like the evolution of a dragon, right? And how it started off as like a bipedal like raptor almost that like had wings that it would like use to fly, and like it eventually like shows you like, oh, why are Asian dragons different than like European dragons and like stuff like that. And it was a wild series. And I remember the first time I saw it, because I was like really young when it came out. The first time I saw it, I was like, this proves freaking dragons are real. This is awesome. Not knowing that it was like a tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, this is a fake documentary series. But it was on like Animal Planet, or it was on Discovery Channel. I can't remember which one it was.
But dragons were real. Like, come on. It's medieval times. They're just extinct now. They were real.
Hey man, if
You are correct.
dinosaurs were real, why can't dragons be real?
That's what I'm saying.
Dragons, a fantasy made real. That's what it was.
No, dragons were real.
No, I'm saying that's the name of the
Oh.
name of the show.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I never heard of that show, but I mean that sounds pretty crazy. But there's a lot of documentaries like that are obviously things that aren't real, and then they pass it off as real scientific findings.
Well, the thing with documentaries, though, like any documentary, is like they sometimes like to make you think that they're like the neutral party and all this, but they really lean heavily to one side most of the time, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
We're neutral. No, you're not. Stop it right now.
especially with the way that they edit, with how they edit it. A lot of the times, like
Yes.
it's always like it'll be
Yes.
like eerie, creepy music when it's like a first serial killer. They're telling us like, and they're saying it in a monotone voice so as to not like make it sound like they're leaning one way or another. Not like they're saying it in like, and 30 bodies were found in their basement, and then the whole background music is.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, there's one documentary I can think of that really, really pissed me off, but we'll save that for another episode. So yeah, Jersey Devil in the books. He's real. Got it. Thanks, guys. Thanks for confirming that for me. I appreciate it. He was on the History Channel. He's definitely real.
Yeah, I mean, looking at these like cryptids, a lot of them are super similar, man. I mean, like, what you got? Bigfoot, skunk ape, yeti, yowie.
Isn't Yeti though? Isn't Yeti like the Bigfoot for like not Japan, because that's Wendigo. Is it Wendigo? No. I think Yeti was specific.
Yeah, because it says most of the sightings are in the Himalayas. So.
Himalayas, yeah.
Yeah, Asia. And then, but like, yeah, a lot of these are like super similar.
But so doesn't that kind of prove though that something like that is real? In my like I don't know. I feel like if there's that many sightings and that many differences, like one of you brought up with like different names and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's, I mean, obviously a story is a story or whatever, but I feel that somewhere along the line that this was something really happened, right? Like I don't know.
Well, like we were looking it up earlier, and there's one cryptid called Yucca Man, something like that.
Yes.
And apparently it's basically like a Bigfoot from like the southwest region of like Nevada, Arizona, and I think it said New Mexico. And like it's basically just a Bigfoot but from a different region, which is like, okay, is it the same cryptid, or is it like a thing that's very similar and then just lives in a different region and maybe freaking adapted differently or whatever?
Yeah.
Because Yeti being in the Himalayas and it's being basically in like a colder environment, it looks like a cold Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's what I was kind of getting at too, because like same thing for the Loch Ness monster. Like you got Mokele Membe from Republic of Congo, the Ogopogo from Canada, sea serpents, and Selma from Norway. Like it's all the same thing. It's just like kind of what you're saying. Like, is it the same creature and it's just evolving differently in different regions? So I feel like those two for me are two that I would go as far as saying I'd say that maybe they are real. Just...
Well, the thing of it is, like, if you think about it from like a different standpoint, obviously, when we're growing up, we're taught this is what it is. Like, oh, aliens aren't real. Oh, this isn't real. That's not real. But I feel like that it's a little far-fetched that things like, big versions of things or like mutated versions of things don't exist out there. I mean, is it kind of weird to say that there's only one Loch Ness monster? Sure. But like you said, there's also sightings everywhere else. So I feel I do honestly believe from the bottom of my heart or my brain or whatever you want to call it, these exist. I think that they're just urban legends because maybe they don't want us to know about them, or it's so far fetched that it's too unbelievable, I guess. To put it, but I mean, you're talking about sightings everywhere. Like if this was just like a United States thing, it's like okay, oh maybe not, but we're talking all over the world. Things are being sighted like this, and maybe people are just really good storytellers. But I like to believe that this stuff is real.
At least to some degree, right? I mean, like there's got to be some there should be some sort of reality to it. And I mean, like we're taught in school about, at least in biology, we're taught about evolution and like
Mhm.
how certain species evolve a certain way just based on what it needs in order to get food, or in order to live in a certain environment and stuff like that. And like, I mean, honestly, some of these sound very similar, or some of them sound like similar enough that they could be of the same species. So like, you got like, just to kind of go back to the Loch Ness monster, you got Nessie, and it's named Loch Ness because that's where it dwells. It's in Loch Ness in Scotland. But then there's also Champ, or Champy, from Lake Champlain, and it's basically the same thing. It's a freaking plesiosaur like monster, or animal that lives in a lake. And then I'm pretty sure there's also like there's so many other ones that are very much the same, and most of the time they like seem to be living in a lake, and that's what they are ultimately named for. So like there's Bessie, South Bay Bessie. This is from Lake Erie. um let's see, is Cassie one? Cassie seems like it might be a different thing though, but it is something that lives in like a body of water. um But then Bigfoot, Sasquatch, a Yeti, Yucca Man, which we like supposedly, like a Yeti is like probably big and like probably like thicker and furrier because it lives in an environment that's super cold. And then you got Yucca Man, which is like, it says that it's taller, but it has less hair because it lives somewhere that's a lot warmer and is not like in the forest and stuff like that. I know that there's probably other ones. Wendigo is not the same thing though.
You're right. It's
Wendigo
not.
is
I
much
did
more,
say that, but it's not. You're right.
that's much more of a like a tale from Native American culture. But like just all of these, and I'm sure that, I mean, there's some names here that I don't recognize, but I'm sure some of them are probably ones from like different regions of the world.
Yeah, most likely. I would assume so. But it goes. So I'm going to kind of tie in our last episode with this one too. So because it's a little bit of a conspiracy theory that kind of ties in with what I'm going to say. But like there's the idea out there that the whole reason conspiracy theories exist is because it's most of it is truth. There are some exaggerated things, but then a form of government or something like that labels it as a conspiracy theory to get people to be like, oh, it's just fake. And they look at people who believe the conspiracy theory as like, crazy. So it's just as easy to say, oh yeah, no, Loch Ness Monster is a hoax. And then like, oh, if you believe in it, oh, you're just, you're one of those. You believe in a fake thing in the lake, when in reality, because then correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they do like sonar in the lock at one point, and they did get something back from like a big entity, but they couldn't find it or something like that. I don't. Maybe I dreamt that, but I'm pretty sure I remember something like that. Like with all the new technology, they pinged like the bottom of the lock.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing that on a TV show somewhere, and it said it was something like massive, and there was like no other proof of anything that big living in there.
20 and drone footage from 2021. In September of 2021, it was reported that a 20-foot creature was captured on a live stream near the lock. Interesting. On April 2014, it was reported that a satellite image on Apple Maps showed what appeared to be a large creature thought to be the Loch Ness Monster just below the surface of Loch Ness. At the loch's far north, the image appeared 30 meters, 98 feet long. Possible explanations were the wake of a boat, with the boat itself lost in the image stitching or low contrast seal caused ripples of or floating wood. I mean, or it could just be, a giant sea monster underneath the loch, whatever. But I mean, regardless of that, they do make for like cool images and monsters and like the D&D or the RPG world. I mean, I like when I come across that stuff in like Dungeons and Dragons. There's definitely some spillover from cryptids in like the monsters for D&D. So it's always fun to see. Actually, I think most of the major ones appear in there. Maybe not the Jersey Devil. Maybe he was just too crazy. But what's your favorite cryptid? What do you think?
My favorite cryptid?
Yeah. Did I say crypto?
No, you said cryptid, I think.
Oh.
Now you got me fucking.
Your favorite cryptid. My favorite crypto is.
I don't remember what the name of it is. I can't remember the name of it exactly. It's one that I learned about not too long ago, and it's one of like it's kind of like Central and South American. They're basically like two dogs or two wolves.
Oh,
that like hang on, now I gotta freaking I was ill prepared for this. Well, so let me skip over those. Once I find them, I'll tell you about them. But another one that I found really interesting recently is one called the Enfield Monster, and this is one that comes from Enfield, Illinois. It's like a little like gray alien looking monster with like sometimes it's mostly like 3 legs. And there's tons of reports about hearing like scratching at their front door, or people hearing scratching at their front door. But like the very first report of it was in April 1973. A gentleman named Henry McDaniel heard a scratching sound at his front door. He looked out and saw something that he thought might be a bear. He took a gun and a flashlight. He headed outside into a strong wind and saw a creature between 2 rose bushes. He later said it had 3 legs on it, a short body, 2 little short arms, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights. It stood 4.5 feet tall and was grayish colored.
Dang.
He said it was almost like a human body. He fired 4 shots at the creature, 1 shot hitting it and causing it to make a hiss, much like wildcats, before fleeing towards a nearby railway embankment. And then there was that, and then like 2 weeks later, he supposedly saw the creature again. And like ever since then, it's been kind of like it seems like it's mostly been this gentleman, or like at least of the time that when it was first like talked about, it was him who was the one who kept like running into this thing apparently. But it's kind of crazy just the way it looks, and like I think since then there's been like a mini craze over it. So yeah, I mean it's kind of an interesting little like thing to kind of come out of Illinois. But the other, I mean, at the same time though, back in the 80s, like all the 80s movies were about like serial killers, and there's a bunch of horror movies that it all took place within Illinois, like Friday the 13th, or was it Friday the 13th? No, I take that back. Nightmare on Elm Street and like Halloween, so it's just like kind of adds to the lore of Illinois a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of spooky shit going on in Illinois.
I guess so. Including our politicians. Oh! Anyway.
You talked about the Jersey Devil. Was there another one, Nick, that you really liked or that you found interesting?
Yeah. Obama let Dan go.
Well, I brought up the Chupacabra already. I think another one that was really interesting to me, and I think it's ties into the one that I think you're going to talk about, Nick, because I think they're from the same region, but it's a Flatwoods monster.
Ooh.
You guys heard of that one?
Nope.
I think so, yeah.
All right, so it's Flatwoods monster. It's called like Phantom of the Flatwoods or the Braxton County monster. Its first sighting was in 1952, and so it looks like a, let's see,
It looks like a
how do you
Martian.
explain it? Yeah, it looks like a fucking alien.
Like if you've ever seen Mars Attacks, like this is kind of what this thing looks like.
Yeah, right. It looks like a 1980s alien prop or something.
Dang.
But yeah, it's like a 10-foot tall Frankenstein-like monster with a pair of obviously big red eyes that glow. It's got claws for hands. And it's got like a weird kind of like spade-shaped hood. Yeah, it just looks like a 1980s Martian. But yeah, he's out of like the Appalachian area. I think he might have actually been in Fallout 76 as well.
Yeah, it says in the Fallout 76 game set in Appalachia, there's a cryptid enemy known as the Flatwoods Monster.
Yeah, it's a creepy
I never
looking
ran into it, but
fucker, yeah. It's got like a flat face shaped like a spade with skin described as pale or fiery orange. And it's got a dark hood hung around its face and a pair of glowing eyes.
Glowing red eyes, right?
Yep.
Of course it is.
Yeah, when it sees people, it lets out like a blood-curdling screech and glides towards them.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, just like I don't think this one's as popular as others, but yeah, most of the recorded sightings and descriptions of it just sound fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of creepy shit in Appalachia. At least from what I've heard. But yeah, you want to go ahead with yours, Nick?
Oh, sure. Yeah, he's definitely from West Virginia, that's for sure.
oh yeah, I know who we're talking about.
And he's in Fallout 76 too.
He is.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh. Is he really?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Dude, a lot of the freaking cryptids like from that region are in Fallout 76.
So he is. Okay. Well, I guess if you haven't guessed it by now, it is definitely Mothman. He is by far my favorite cryptid out there. Not just by looks and stuff like that, but just I guess what I don't want to say what he represents, but like what is said to happen after you see him, which is a tragic event. There's I know of one movie that it was at least made about him, but a lot of times people report seeing Mothman before, like I think it was it the Ohio Bridge or something like that caved in. A lot of people started seeing this moth-like figure with glowing red eyes. And after there had been a lot of reported sightings, all of a sudden a bridge collapsed over a river. But the Mothman Prophecies. That was the name of the movie.
Yeah, that's the name of the movie. It was based on a book.
Yes, it is. Yeah. But I don't know. I think just overall, I know recently we had talked about Mothman sightings. There's a website that I popped onto, and there's a lot of Mothman sightings in Chicago recently. So who knows what's gonna happen?
Well, that's not good.
Nope. I don't know. Yeah, there's just something about the look. And actually, this year, I don't know if you guys know this, but like this end of last year, beginning of this year, there has been a lot of like Mothman merchandise that's come out, and to the point where Build-A-Bear has a Mothman bear that I still
What?
need. Oh yeah, I need to purchase this. Like this is a purchase that I must make.
Wasn't there a Squishmallow? I'm pretty sure there's a Squishmallow.
There's a Squishmallow as well this year. Yep.
Was it this year or has it been out?
Crazy.
Because
No,
that,
it was late last year.
there's another one that's similar to Squishmallow that like a friend of mine used to collect.
Squishables.
Maybe I don't remember exactly, but there was one they've had the Mothman for like a while.
The Squishable has had Mothman for a while, and then Build-A-Bear and Squishmallow both did Mothman, and yeah, the Build-A-Bear one I have to like I still need to buy it. I saw it in store and I'm like, I need this. Like I don't know why I'm not buying this right now. But
the Man, the Moth, the Legend. That's great.
Yep.
That is pretty great.
So, but I think overall look and just, I think he's one of the cooler cryptids in my opinion. I don't know. It just, again, the glowing red eyes, but the giant bat-like creature, and then something tragic happens afterwards. They've actually started reporting them in pairs. So like. I remember there was a sighting somewhere in like Chicagoland area where somebody saw two of them, and when they got the flashlight flashed on them, they took off into the air, according to the story. So, but yes, yeah, he's. I don't know. I don't know what else there really is to say about the Mothman. I think he's. Did he appear in some comic books, Nico? That's your specialty.
It's entirely possible, honestly. Give me 1 second. I can tell you for sure. Because actually, yeah, he had his own comic book by this is Frank Frazetta. That's the artist. I don't know if he actually wrote, but yeah, Frank Frazetta did a Mothman run. It looks like. There's also, there's a character modeled after Mothman in what's it called? The Watchmen. Mm-hmm. Like he's a superhero. Well, the superhero is relative, but like he's a hero from the Minutemen, and his name is Mothman. So basically, he's just like dressed like a giant moth. There's also a character called Killer Moth from DC Comics that like. In some iterations is usually just like a crime boss that kind of dressed like a moth, or it could be so much as basically like a cryptid creature, like a man moth hybrid that has like powers like a moth and stuff like that. So there's that. This one interests me though, this Frank Frazetta Mothman. Frank Frazetta does some really cool, he's done like artwork of like Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, nice.
So I just didn't know that this was something that. Oh, wow! This is pretty awesome. This is pretty awesome work, actually.
They actually have a statue of the Mothman in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and then some of the another big. I guess, I don't know if it was big, but something that we would have known about because we lived in the States. But a lot of people reported seeing the Mothman in Russia before that apartment building bombings that happened in 1999.
Oh wow, really?
Yes, yeah. So I don't know, and now there was a lot of sightings at O'Hare Airport.
Oh no!
Like I think O'Hare had over 100 sightings.
I was
And
just
actually,
there yesterday.
I don't know if you guys saw this too, though. But did you see the near miss at
Oh
O'Hare the other
yeah,
day?
where the
Oh my
pilot
goodness!
like pulled up like last second and barely missed that jet, right?
Yes, he did. Yep.
Yeah, that could have been bad.
Yeah,
That's insane.
it was insane.
Paired with these Mothman sightings, that's not a good sign.
Something's up. Something's
Yeah,
up.
because I mean that's like his main thing, right? I feel like in a way he's kind of maybe warning us of like incoming danger somehow.
Yeah, and I actually don't think.
Like him
I don't think.
himself isn't bad.
Yeah, and I don't think he's got any reports of him attacking anybody. It's just lots and lots of sightings. Or lots of sightings, and then in fact, there's sightings around the world too. There's other Mothmans that have different names. Like there are in different countries, they have like the something Mothman. I don't know all of them, but again, this is another like thing that people are seeing all over the world and have their own kind of version of it, right? So
they can't all be lying,
right? Yeah.
And I mean, it's pretty. They are. Yeah, I mean, he has his own museum too, right? In West Virginia.
I'm sure. I believe he does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never put this together before, but I think that this maybe. I mean, I'd have to look it up exactly, but so I don't know how big of like Pokemon fans you guys are.
I used to be,
but there is a there's a Pokemon called Absol, who is it's a dark type Pokemon. It doesn't evoke like he doesn't look like Mothman, but the face, he's got an all black face with red eyes, and the lore behind Absol is that it shows up whenever there's a disaster about to hit. So much so that it's said to have like a danger sense and usually kind of arrives to like warn people of an impending disaster, and that people kind of always associated it with bad luck because there was always disaster that followed it, not really realizing that like it was there to kind of warn everyone. But yeah, so Absol, it doesn't look like Mothman. If anything, it looks kind of like a white dog with like a black face and some other like black features and stuff like that. But then when it mega evolves, it gets like wings and stuff like that, just to kind of further that sort of like Mothman sort of like imagery, I guess, to some degree.
Oh,
I don't know if it was ever like full on supposed to be modeled after Mothman, but the fact that it's got like a black face with like red eyes, and kind of signals danger, kind of makes me think that maybe they were thinking about it a little bit.
What was the Pokemon's name? Absol?
Absol, Absol.
What was the final evolution? Is he the final evolution?
It's a single evolution.
Oh,
it's
single evolution. Okay.
Single evolution Pokemon.
Okay.
But then, so I mean, I don't know how deep into Pokemon you got, but at a certain generation, they had something called Mega Evolution, where you could basically, it pushes a Pokemon's evolutionary stage to the next level, basically, and it like changes form. It'll still be the same Pokemon, and eventually it'll revert to its normal form or whatever. But Mega Absol, like it's all white, but then like a horn that it has on its head gets a little bit bigger, and then it grows wings on the back.
I see it now.
Yeah,
I looked it up. Crazy. So my interactive map has most of the sightings in Chicago for Mothman. Lots of by the Shed Aquarium, lots at Navy Pier, and the second most sightings in the area is O'Hare.
Oof.
Yeah, lots and lots of sightings in O'Hare. And you got some up north, close to the border, like Wakanda.
Wakanda.
That's
Oh, sorry, I was like, I said Wakanda, and I was like Wakanda, but I forgot that there's a Wakanda, Illinois, not Wakanda.
yeah, Wakanda, Waukegan. You know, those are up north. Some down south. There's been one sighting at Wilmington, like way down south. But yeah, a lot of them, like a lot of the reports are the same sighting. And actually, I don't know if you guys have watched the reboot of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix.
Mm-mm.
I have
Uh,
not. No.
so it's really good. It doesn't have the same appeal as the old one because I can't remember the guy's name that announced it.
That hosted it, yeah.
So it's a little different. But they actually had a cryptid episode. Actually, it might have even been just a specific to Mothman episode. And one of the featured people on there were from Rockford, Illinois.
Oh wow.
So,
wow.
yeah. But I don't know. There's just like the look, the idea. I mean, I don't think any cryptids that we've talked about, maybe chupacabras, you're nipping at your toes in your bed or whatever, like are actually going after people, right? I mean, all the sightings of the Loch Ness Monster, he's just been in the loch and coming up out of the water. Mothman warns us of danger. Bigfoot, no one can ever get close enough to Bigfoot for him to do anything. So, I mean, maybe these things are put here to baffle us and warn us. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know what the Loch Ness Monster is warning us of, or Actually, I guess it sounds like the Mexican folklore down there, the Hispanic folklore, or whatever it is. They're the ones drowning their kids and nipping at toes and stuff like that. So you can keep that. You can keep that. Down in Southern America and Mexico. But yeah, I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to finish my thoughts on Mothman. It's just, I don't know. It's a cool story. He's definitely something I like to read about from time to time, especially now that there's a lot of sightings in Chicago. So, go ahead, Nico.
I was just going to kind of piggyback off of that thought you were saying about some of these cryptids or like urban legends, some of them not really being anything that like harms people or whatever. So the urban legend that I was talking about earlier that I heard recently that I've been interested in or that I like, it's called El Cadejo. And it's mostly from like South America. There's some in Central America too, mostly like Guatemala and El Salvador. Basically what it is there's two basically dog-like creatures. Some say that they're wolves, some say that they're dogs. Most of the time they kind of describe them as like dog-like creatures with like goat hooves and goat horns. But there's usually two of them. There's like a good one and a bad one. So there's one that's white with red eyes, and then there's the one that's black with red eyes. And then so they say that the one that's white protects travelers. And then the one that's black usually attacks travelers. In Guatemala and El Salvador specifically, it's usually in reference to like drunk people. That the white cadejo will protect drunkards as they're traveling home and stuff like that. But the black one will actively attack like drunks as they're traveling and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Is that you said South America? Southern USA?
Yeah, I think it's It's I guess it's mostly Central American, but
Okay.
I thought it was just from. So it says it's Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. So it's Central American.
All right, so let's not get drunk in Central America ever. No
Basically.
Friday night shit chats in Central America.
Unfortunately, but yeah. So it's like, I mean, it's definitely an interesting story. And it says the term cadejo is thought to have derived from the Spanish word cadena, meaning chain. The cadejo is at times represented as dragging a chain behind him. There's a fairly large member of the weasel family, the Teira, which is called the cadejo and is cited as a possible source for the legend. Teira, what does the Teira look like? It's basically like a big weasel, or like a small Wolverine, even almost.
Rawr.
Rare. But it's said to look like a dog, has deer-like hooves, and moves like a deer. The white cadejos are benevolent and eat bell-like flowers that only grow on volcanoes. The white cadejo protects people, including drunks, vagabonds, and people with grudges from all evil footsteps. Okay.
Evil footsteps.
Whoa.
Better not have any evil thoughts as you're walking down the road in Central America.
Right. And people with grudges from all evil footsteps. That one's weird. I don't know what that means.
Maybe if
and
like you're
that's
like a murderer
interesting.
that got away with something, you know what I mean? Like maybe you know.
Maybe.
Oh, I mean, what else could it mean? Evil.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's got to be something like that, right?
The black cadejo is malevolent and lures people to make bad decisions. The black cadejo has glowing purple eyes and eats newborn babies. The
What?
fuck?
Whoa! Hold on.
Jeez.
Interesting. Describes the cadejos as mythical dog-like creatures that figure prominently in the folklore of El Salvador, where my dad's from. They mysteriously appear at night and lovingly protect the villagers who live on the slopes of the volcano from danger. In Guatemala and El Salvador, the legend of El Cadejo revolves around La Siwanaba and El Cipitio legends. Those are towns, I'm pretty sure. Interesting. Here's some characteristics. So it says the evil Cadejo ranges in size according to different tales in various regions. It lurks in graveyards and dark alleys, waiting to attack a passing victim. It has a distinctive smell of concentrated urine and burning sulfur. It rattles with a jerking motion, contracting its pharynx. Its gaze freezes anyone who makes eye contact. Its skin and short hair, similar to those of a pig, glitter in the pitch dark.
Whoa.
That's fucking terrifying.
Whoa.
This says that there's 3 types of black cadejos. The first is the devil himself in the form of a large wounded dog with hoofed feet and are bound with red-hot chains. Jesus. It is said that not even the white cadejo can completely stop him. Wow. The second type of cadejo is a mysterious evil dog. It kills and savagely tears through its victims. First, it demoralizes him with a series of sounds and other signs that it is nearby. Then, after the victim is scared, it leaps and will kill him if the white cadejo is not near. Since the third and least powerful type of black cadejo is the offspring of a normal dog and the regular cadejo. It is a mortal hybrid and can, with difficulty, be killed by a strong man. Huh. Okay.
Wow.
So it's either the devil, just like a mysterious like black dog creature, or a hybrid of like a regular dog and the actual like dog creature. That's for the evil one.
Jeez.
The white one, there's not so much characteristics. I'm assuming it's just basically the black one, but white. And is See, now Absol would remind me of that a little bit too. Although, like at least in terms of how it's designed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
it's almost like both of them together.
Oh God, no! It's an unholy amalgamation.
Oh no.
And then Nico's gonna go to his parents' house tomorrow and be like, "Hey, Nico, we got 2 new dogs. One's black and one's
Black
white."
one's white.
What the fuck?
Oh, go!
Never getting drunk around here ever again.
Yeah, they're both just watching you.
Fuck that.
Wow.
It's terrifying.
Yeah, it is. Truly.
I think switching gears a little bit more towards urban legends, I got a little one for you guys of actually right here in Hanover Park, actually.
Whoa! Too close.
Yeah, no, man. I have not heard of like anything about this like on the internet or anywhere else. Like the only people that like I've spoken to about this and kind of like know about this are people that lived like in the area in Hanover Park. So I think when we moved out here a long time ago from Colorado, and then I grew up in Hanover Park, so I went to like elementary school, middle school, and like half of high school when I was living in Hanover Park. And there was like right like 2 blocks away from my house there was I forgot what it's called. It's like the recreational gym. They call it the Bola Blanca, like the white ball, because it's like a little indoor gym and it looks like a white ball. And then like right across the street from there, there's like these apartment buildings, and there's a van that's parked there, and it's for like a clown, right?
The fuck?
What?
Yeah. No, yeah, but it's for like a clown, and it's like growing up, like back then, like my bus stop was, I think like in order to get to my bus stop, you would have to walk past this apartment complex. So we'd always walk past the van. So I don't know if it's something that like kids just started talking about and like it kind of turned into a whole thing. But it was like before like all the crazy, clown sightings in 2016 and all that shit. But yeah, we would always pass by it, and it was like even back then it was like super rundown, looked like it hadn't driven in years. Like all the clown pictures on the side were all faded and scary and shit. And like supposedly kids would walk up to it and kind of like look into the windows, and you would supposedly see like a clown looking back at you or some shit. And then I think like the creepy part of it was that like right in front of this apartment complex, there's like a little area that's kind of wooded, and it's I don't know, I'm trying to find a way to explain it. You guys know that area behind Walmart back here where it's kind of wooden but it's not
Yes.
too wooded?
I do, yes.
Yeah, just like that. Exactly like that. So it's like a little dense, but it's like small wooded area. So supposedly people started saying that they would see like the clown man running around in the woods and shit, and that's something that kind of like just took off, like just in that town. Like literally nobody else that I've ever talked to has heard of it. So I'm assuming it was something that just started out there, but never got an explanation for it. I mean, ever since when I grew up, like years later, that van was always there. And I actually knew people that lived in that apartment complex, and they didn't know whose van it was. They said nobody ever, went out to it. It was literally just sat there for years in the same spot. And then one day it just magically disappeared. And
Of course it did.
that's the end of that.
Oh,
Yeah, all that from a fucking rundown clown man.
that's messed up.
But yeah, I don't know if anybody actually ever saw anything, or if it was probably just like our crazy imagination. But like,
I mean, I wonder if there's
I wonder if
there had to have been doll in the car.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, there's probably, if 'Cause I never fucking went up to it. I would say I would
I was
like
gonna
go up
ask
to it. I would tease my friends, be like, "Let's go up to it," and then we wouldn't go all the way up to it.
Ah,
But I mean, if people did go up to it and actually saw something in there, I'm assuming it would have been like a clown mask or maybe even a doll. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
like it was those creepy old white vans. You know,
no
exactly which ones.
windows, no window
Yeah.
vans. Yeah,
One
yep.
window. No, just the 2 windows in the back. That's it.
Yep.
No windows on the sides. So yeah, I mean, if they did go to, maybe it was like, because it was like a clown, like a party clown, but it was just like so old and run down, and they didn't have like a phone number or anything on it. It just said, clown for parties or some shit. Yeah, I don't know. That was just a creepy little thing.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
the creepiest part. Yeah, creepiest part was it just disappeared out of nowhere, and then everybody I talked to never knew who it belonged to. So I don't fucking know.
Wait, was it Buster the Clown?
I don't remember.
Buster the Clown?
Buster the Clown.
The only reason I'm asking is because it says 1920 Elm Court, Apartment 3A, Hanover Park.
Oh, what?
Oh, is it Elm Court? Let me look it up. Do you know the name of the apartment complex?
No, I don't. I
Wait,
just.
hold on, let me see. I'm gonna look it up.
It's
and I'll
off
tell
of
you.
Lake Street. It looks like though.
It
It's
is off
near-
of Lake Street. What is it?
Oh no,
1920
Nico!
Elm?
What are you doing?
Oh, we just doxed him. No.
Well, it says whatever. Apparently, whatever that business or whoever it was that owned the van, it says closed. So,
Dude,
Well, of course not.
that's exactly where it was at. Yeah, 19.
No, get out
Yeah,
of here!
that's the apartment complex, man. Yeah,
No, I got
looking at it-
goosebumps. Oh,
yeah,
no.
looking at it in the maps right now. That's exactly where it was. Right behind the Hanover Park District.
Oh, frick.
Sorry for doxing you, Buster.
oh yeah, sorry, bud. If you are still around, if you're even still there, but
No, yeah, that's
Like-
the apartment complex.
Oh.
because I just I looked up Clown Van Hanover Park, and that was one of the ones that popped up for was Buster the Clown.
I typed
scary.
that too, but I didn't get that. Where did you get that?
I just kept looking. I just kept scrolling down.
Man, okay, you win.
Amusement and recreation services.
I found it now.
Hanover
Oh
Park.
man. Oh, he passed away in 2008. Oh no.
Oh, well, that's why the van disappeared.
Oh.
It
Shit.
says Hanover Park man always wanted to clown around. Well, we solved it, folks.
There we go. You heard it here.
John J. Buster the Clown McConnell. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. That's,
Rest in peace, dude.
R.I.P.
yeah, rest in
Buster.
peace. Sorry, bud. I think you scared some folks with your.
Oh man.
It scared me just now. I
Keep
got
going.
goosebumps.
Well, there you go. There you have it. Just in case kids' crazy imaginations running wild.
Right.
Pretty much.
I don't know if I know many urban legends. I mean, we told stupid stories as kids, but I'm sure none of it had any truth behind it. So, I mean, when we were in we were talking about Rainbow Road in the Ghost episode, that like disappearing house.
Yeah, that's
I-
technically an urban legend.
I believe it is. I mean, I don't know. The problem is I don't know all of the details. So, Nico, if you want to go, I can look it up real quick.
I mean, I don't really know too much about urban legends other than, I mean, I could talk about some more cryptids that I find interesting.
That works too. I like that.
Here, what is it? There's one I just saw.
92.
There's one. This is like an old tale from, I think it's from France. It's called the Beast of Givaudan, where it's and maybe I just got a thing about dogs, but this thing was it's from it says it started, sightings apparently started in the 1760s. It's a creature that was held responsible for at least 60 animal attacks or attack deaths. Sorry, during the 1760s in France. Some reports put the death toll over 100.
Wow.
Basically, I mean, it kind of looks like it would be like a black wolf almost. But I mean, these are just like, I mean, they're like drawings and stuff. But like some people, I mean, there's so much so that there's a statue of it. It's just I thought it was interesting because it's like it says the beast is a quadruped about the size of a horse. It reminds witnesses of a bear or a female hyena due to its large size. Wolf and panther all at once. Has a long wolf-like or pig-like snout, lined with large teeth. The ears are small and round, lying close to its head. The neck is long and strong. The tail somewhat resembles the long tail of a panther, but it is so thick and strong that the beast uses it as a weapon, knocking men and animals down with it. Anyone struck with the tail reports that it hits with considerable force. The feet of the beast are hardest to describe. Some say it has cloven hooves, or that each digit is tipped with a hoof. That's weird. Others say that the claws are so heavy, thick, and formidable that they merely resemble hooves.
Shit.
Like, there's even some depictions of it that have like scales and spikes on its back. It's just like, this one's like, it's really weird, you know? And for all we know, it could have just been like it could have been just a freaking bear attack, you know, like that people were getting attacked by either a certain bear or a couple, you know, bears or whatever. Because I mean, they're mostly getting attacked in the forest and stuff. But like, it's the fact that like it became so prevalent that it became like a mythology or like a cryptid, like an urban legend of for the time is kind of wild, you know. The beast of Givaudan. The way I first heard of this was there's an anime I watched called not Full Nerd Academia, My Hero Academia, and one of the characters he can morph into like a beast-like creature, and his hero name was Givaudan. And that's what I was like, what does that mean? And I looked it up and heard about this thing. So it's kind of cool, kind of weird. I thought it was interesting.
I mean, that definitely sounds fucking gnarly, dude. But yeah, I wonder what it was. If it was a bear, that's pretty fucked up.
I mean,
it's a wild man eating.
I mean, they're talking about its tail, like it had like a tail that like
because bears don't have tails.
Right? Yeah. Shit, you know? I mean, bears have tails; they're just really small.
Yeah, they're not that fucking long. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, a lot of these things are from like 18th, 19th century. So it's like, what the fuck was going around back then, dude?
Right.
These things sound terrifying.
Yep. All right, so I found a little bit of the Rainbow Road thing. So there's a lot of, I guess, I don't want to say misinformation, but there's a lot of like stories or whatever. But basically, way back when, it was a farmhouse that had burned down, and then they built a manor there, and it was apparently a hideout for one of Chicago like mafia boss, and that burned down. And then there was an insane asylum over there on Rainbow Road, and that burned down.
Jeez.
And then the only thing that was left of the insane asylum was a silo. But apparently, the urban legend is that if you go to Rainbow Road at a certain time and go beyond the gates at a certain time, you'll see a house. And if you go in the house, you can see like what you can walk around the house, you can stay in the house. But if you don't get out of the house before it disappears, you disappear with the house. Whoa. So like it's like a appearing and vanishing house on Rainbow Road. And it's said to like, you know, that's because apparently there was and this is where it starts getting where facts are like untraceable, I guess, or not what do you call it? What's the word? it's not proven. Like I can't find any information online. But when it was a mafia boss house, they apparently found 30 bodies on the property at one point. And then
Shit.
when the insane asylum, because it was a while ago, they were still doing like shock therapy, hydrotherapy, where they thought, oh well, we'll just shock you or whatever, and it was killing people. So there's apparently a lot of death tied to that house, and then the burning down of everything. So people are saying that there's enough energy there to produce a phantom house that could potentially take you with it. I guess. But
Is that off of 59?
yeah, so if you're going on 59 towards Fox Lake, you'll eventually pass over Cuba Road. And if you're going up from where you live, towards Fox Lake, you're going to turn right onto Cuba Road, and then it's maybe a mile and a half, and then you'll see a sign for Rainbow Road. And if you go down Rainbow Road, there's like all that's left of it, like I said, is a silo, but you can find gates. Like there's 2 stone pillars and some gates that you can roll up to, and you can look back there. There's apparently nothing there. Well, I shouldn't say apparently. There's nothing there. All that's left is that silo. So yeah. But apparently that's the urban legend, is that, when the house does appear, if you go there at the right time, you're able to walk through it, but if you don't get out on time, you disappear with the house.
That's crazy.
So,
I think I might have actually been there when I was going through. We talked about a little bit in the paranormal episode when I was going through my phase of visiting haunted, quote unquote, haunted places. Yeah, I think we did try looking for it. It was somewhere. I know it had something to do with the burnt down house.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was one of the ones in like Shoe Factory Road.
So that's a different one.
Yeah, okay. It might have been a different one then.
Shoe Factory is actually in is that technically Bartlett or Street? No. Hoffman Estates? I think it's Hoffman Estates.
No, yeah, it's Hoffman.
So
yeah, I might have confused it with that one, but I just remember going in there. There was something with a burnt house, and then my car did get stuck in there, just like in the cemetery.
It's similar stories though, because I believe Shoe Factory Road was a burned down farmhouse that I don't think it shows up out of nowhere though. Is the thing. I think it's just like a burned down house that has a lot of paranormal energy about it. But back on track, if you don't mind. The Mongolian death worm, said to look like a large intestine worm. It's just a big red worm with a mouth with teeth coming out of it. Actually looks like a snake, like a really long, gross snake. Well, it's just an image, or like a drawing. The Mongolian death worm is generally less, cultural prevalent than other cryptids, obviously because Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster exists. But the reason I bring this up is because what's that?
So it looks like Shai Hulud.
Yeah.
From Dune. It's the giant worm.
Yep.
Dune.
But D&D features a monster called the Purple Worm, and it looks identical except for it's purple. So, what?
That's an Alaskan bullworm.
I just saw that episode the other day. My son's really, really, really into SpongeBob right now.
That's funny. That's probably where they got it from. That looks
probably. But I mean, talk about something terrifying. Like, hi, I am the Mongolian death worm. It has a cool name though. That's the thing.
It's a one-eyed monster.
Well, all right.
Why Nico was giggling over there.
I'm sure. It doesn't look like he has any eyes though. It just has a really big toothy maw.
That's scary.
I'm gonna eat you. I don't know much about it, and there's not really much about it on online. There is this year a Kickstarter was launched for a board game called Twisted Cryptids, and he is featured in there.
Oh,
So-
dude, that sounds amazing.
I may or may not have kickstarted that game. Just say for no apparent reason, except for Mothman's the head of the
Oh,
he's
nice.
not the head of it, but like he's like front and center on the box. So I was like, oh, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, what is this? I'm like, oh, it's got the Loch Ness monsters in there, the Death Worms in there, Mothman's in there, the frog, the lake man or the lake frog. I don't know what that was called, fudge. But yeah, it looks cool.
That's awesome, man. Are there any like cryptid board games out right now?
I
that
don't
you
know.
of?
No, I don't know. There might be.
I'm surprised there isn't, or there isn't any popular ones. I feel like that's a great
missed opportunity. Yeah,
Yeah, it is huge, dude.
Bigfoot and Yeti are featured in there. They have minis. The Jersey Devils in there. So like all the big named ones are in there. So
That's awesome, dude.
yeah,
Oh,
no, it looks good. I'm trying to find the list of cryptids that were in it. Oh, I think blah blah blah. But yeah, it's I may or may not have kickstarted it. So they got the Mothman, Bigfoot, Jersey Devil. Oh, Jackalope. The Jackalope is in there. The Loveland Frog, Nessie, Chupacabra,
Ooh.
Jersey Devil, Lizard Person, Yeti, and Deathworm. So, yeah.
That's something to look
Anytime I
forward
see
to.
that, I just want to say Shai Halud.
What? No, not allowed. Okay, you're allowed. But I think those, like, yeah, I don't know. I think the ones I just named there were definitely like the top. Well, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know much about the Deathworm, but he's obviously famous enough to make the game. So what? They have plushies? Oh, I didn't see that. I might need some plushies.
Coming
Nope,
to the basement near you.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it.
I need it.
I need it.
What are the plushies of?
They have 4
Good.
plushies. One is Mothman, one is the Frog, one is Bigfoot, and one is the Jackalope.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. $10 each. That's not a bad. Oh. I'm gonna have to add on to my Kickstarter.
That's not bad at all.
No, I'll take it. I'll take it. Are there any more cryptids out there that Dan that you want to talk about?
Cryptids. I mean, we didn't really touch on Bigfoot as much, right?
I mean, we
Just a
did.
little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think we covered most of the ones that I've looked into, at least for cryptids. And then for urban legends, I think I just had like one more. Have you guys heard of black-eyed children?
Black-eyed children?
Yes,
Yeah,
I believe
that's
I
one.
have.
Yeah,
Is that the one where like they ring the
scared me a little
doorbell?
bit. Yeah, and then
All right, yeah. Tell that one. I yes.
Oh yeah, that one scared me a little bit. That's one that I looked into when I was a little bit younger, and ever since then, I mean, when I first heard about it, it scared the shit out of me because so apparently it seems to be like they are like ghostly children. They're like either early teens or preteens, and yeah, like one of the stories, they do go around and start knocking on people's doors and ringing their doorbell, and like as soon as you open the door, it'll be like a group of, I think it says usually around 3 of them, and they'll just sit there and stare at you, and then you get lost in their eyes.
Oh.
And then, but yeah, some people claim that they're ghosts. Others claim they're demons, vampires, or practitioners of evil magic. And then some UFO lore depicts them as human-alien hybrids. Well, most believe they're children playing cruel pranks on people. But I mean, I think one of the things that like scared me most about it is there are actually like a lot of like older images about them But I think one of the theories behind that is, I mean, obviously you got edited pictures, and then just for some reason, cameras back in the olden days were creepy as shit, and like something with the exposure. Yeah, something with like the exposure and whatever technology they had back then would make a lot of people's eyes turn black. So a lot of these portraits of children, they have like black eyes, and it's scary. But yeah, I think in some stories that I've heard too, they're almost similar to like Mothman, where they would go and present themselves to people before like something bad would happen to them or before they would die. But that's just some stories. Yeah, that's just some stories, because it says their alignment and some are neutral, and then others their alignment is evil. So, but yeah, that's one that kind of like, because I got into creepypastas for a little bit, so that was one of the ones that I remember listening to and looking into, and kind of scared me a little bit.
For sure. I'm still into creepypastas. Those are my
hell
god.
yeah, man. Those count as urban legends, modern
I mean,
urban legends.
technically, yes, they are. Yeah, absolutely, they are. No, yeah, I remember hearing that story. That, oh no,
yeah, that shit's fucking terrifying. I think another one that still kind of gets me every now and then is I forgot what it's called, but it was a story, and oh, man, fuck, what was that book? You know exactly what book I'm talking about. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was the story of like the high beams, where there's a woman driving, and she keeps getting flashed by a driver behind her, and she keeps getting pissed. She's like, why the fuck is this guy flashing me? And it turns out there was like a killer in her back seat, and every time the driver behind her would see the killer kind of peeking up with a knife in his hand, he would flash the lights, and then the killer would duck down. And yeah, ever since I've heard that, I'd kind of check my back seat every now and then. Kind of swing my arm over there. Kind of like when I go to the bathroom and the shower curtain's closed. I'll just try and
open it.
Gotta slap it a little bit.
Nobody's in there, right?
Catch whoever's in there off guard. But that's another one too. And then I think Smile Dog was a fucked up one too. Did you guys hear that one?
No. Smile Dog.
Yeah. So Smile Dog is, was there so much on this? There's not much about it, but I think it started off as like one of those internet ones where it was like smile.jpg or smile.dog or something, and it was like went around the internet. But yeah, it's like a super edited picture of a dog with like a just sharp toothy grin.
Mm.
And yeah, it's supposedly featured on the smile.jpg image. Yeah, it's like a cyber legend, I think, technically. Similar, loosely similar to Jeff the Killer in appearance. Yeah, I actually like The Ring a little bit, because it's this lady locked herself in a bedroom while she cried and complained about nightmares and visions, and it was all on a floppy disk that she got, and the floppy disk contained the image smile.jpg, the infamous Smile Dog.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. Yeah, pretty much just like that's The Ring, right? Or is that the one with the tape, the movie?
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it says seeing this image loses mental sanity. There's no exact copy on the internet, although there are similar ones. Yeah. That was a scary one.
Yeah. I don't think any of us brought up the Hodag from Wisconsin, did we?
The Hodag.
No, I was going to.
Okay, take it away.
So, for those unaware what the Hodag is, it's basically, this is a well, I think unfortunately it's been named a hoax now. But
never a hoax.
But
see, that's the thing, Nico. They could have been named a hoax, but that's
what they want you to think.
And that's what they want you to think. Yeah, exactly. Continue.
But anyway, so it's like it's like a cryptid slash like it's like a folklore type animal from Wisconsin. It's basically like it's been tied into some like stories of Paul Bunyan and stuff like that too. It's from around the city of Rhinelander, Wisconsin, where it was said to have been discovered. And it's basically like it's said to be like a huge what does it say here? It says it had the head of a frog or a bear, large lizard-like body with large protruding tusks, the horns of a bison, and the grinning face of a giant elephant. Thick, short legs set off by huge claws, the back of a dinosaur with spines, and a long tail with spears at the end. So it's like this big old huge creature, right? That's the way I always remember hearing it described was like that it had the head of a bull, the body of a lizard, and like something else. I can't remember exactly. Like there was like a children's book about this thing. Like that was where I first heard of it. It was a book that got read to us in the library when I was like a little kid. Like supposedly like somebody had caught one and like they captured it alive supposedly and they were like reporting it. Basically it sort of became the official symbol of the town, like a mascot basically. And like I mean, just talking about some of it in pop culture, it says an army of hodags serve the Jersey Devil in the children's book The Adventures of Casey and the Jackalope.
Dang.
It's a playable card in the video game Inscription. It is unlocked when playing through Casey's mod. I don't know what that is. The hodag appears as a monster in one of the dungeons of the video game Magical Diary. The hodag appears as a monster in the Pathfinder RPG Bestiary 3.
Nice.
Apparently the hodag has been in Scooby-Doo. But yeah, I mean, I remember. I want to know what the name of the freaking the book was that I read as a kid. But it's because like some of it is tied to like it's supposedly like tied to Paul Bunyan, who's like that's a tall tale from like early United States lore and stuff like that. I don't know how it's supposed to tie into like Paul Bunyan's story. Maybe it's just like a large creature that he like fought or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I always thought it was kind of interesting. Is this what it's called? The hodag from Fearsome Critters.
Looks like a big ass chupacabra.
It kind of does actually, like especially the statue that they have in Wisconsin. Yeah, it looks like a shaggy version of a chupacabra.
My cousin actually brought this one. I wasn't too familiar with it. I had heard something about it, I believe, and he brought it. He sent me like a video, like I don't think it was a podcast. I think it was a video reading of like stories about the hodag, and I was like, huh, that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. How are we looking on beers, boys?
Finishing up my
about
last
half
one.
left.
Oh, I've been out for like 22 minutes.
As per usual, Nick's always the first one done.
No, don't say that. Come on now.
Oh man, yeah. I think I just got one last one. I just want to throw in there was another creepypasta, which is the Rake. You guys read that one?
Oh yes.
Oh man, yeah, that thing's fucking terrifying. It's like a strange human-like creature, which sparked brief interest before when there was like an apparent, was it blackout It was sparked brief local media interest before an apparent blackout was enacted. Little or no information was left intact. Ooh. Of course, northeastern United States, where all the creepy shit happens.
Of course.
But yeah, from the stories that I've heard and the creepypasta that I listened to, it sounds a lot like what are they called? The shapeshifters.
The Skinwalkers?
Yeah, skinwalkers.
Oh, dude, how did we not talk about that? Go
I
ahead,
feel like
sorry,
we can,
we'll talk about
I
it.
feel like we can dedicate an entire episode to
Oh,
Skinwalkers.
we're gonna have to eventually, dude. There's so much on that, but yeah, I was gonna bring those up because I'm assuming that's where they got the
idea.
The idea from, because all the pictures online that are like tied into it and all the descriptions of it tied into it just really remind me of all the Skinwalker type stories and stuff. And that yeah, like you said, that's gonna have to be a whole episode because that's I think at one point I believe they were real. That's some real creepy shit there.
Oh yeah, the rake. That's a good creepypasta for sure.
It is, yeah. It scared the shit out of me.
Especially since the original picture looks so freaking real.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh no, hell no, no.
For back when it came out, man. Like nowadays, you if you saw that, you'd be like, oh, that's some fucking scary ass AI. But we didn't have that technology back then, so it's like, how the fuck did they come up with this?
Yep, no, for real.
But yeah, it's a scary one. I think that's what really made, at least for me, all these creepypastas come to life was just those pictures, man.
Oh yeah,
gnarly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
For back then, that was some creepy shit. But that's the last one I just wanted to throw in there.
One of my favorite creepypastas, I believe it's creepypasta, was Slenderman.
Oh yeah, that one got really big. Yeah,
Slenderman.
I think that's probably one of the top 3 most popular ones.
For sure,
has to be. Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's the first one that really caught traction.
Is it?
For me, at least, I think that's the first one that I heard of.
There's the I don't know if you guys know this, but we're talking about creepypastas. There's a book that came out from, I believe it was from the Reddit. No, I'm thinking No Sleep, not creepypasta. That back up. Forget I said anything.
Nope.
Well, do you got anything to add, Nico?
Not of urban legends or creepypastas, no.
Cryptid?
Yes, another cryptid.
All right, let's hear it.
Have you guys ever heard of a kappa?
Yes.
Kappa. It's like it's called. It means river child, and basically, it's like a humanoid turtle, but that has like a hole in its head that it can carry, that holds water.
What?
No, I've never heard of Ninja Turtle.
All right, continue. What?
Yeah. So it's basically like it basically looks just like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, right? So it's usually like child or like teenager sized, like a turtle that walks on 2 feet, and then it has like an indentation in its head that holds like water. And it said that if it spills, the kappa will be unable to move.
What?
And they're basically like, it's in folklore, they're basically like little like malevolent or like treacherous little creatures. Basically just like kind of like, causing trouble for people. They're said to like look up girls' skirts and like, play pranks on people. And it says their pranks range from the relatively innocent, such as loudly passing gas or looking up women's kimonos, to the malevolent, such as drowning people and animals or kidnapping children.
Oh, well, those are 2 different sides of the spectrum there. Holy crap.
It says when kappas attack people, they often pull the person's intestines out through their anus.
Oh my gosh!
In order to get a mythical organ called the shirikodama. which is said to contain the human soul. They're also said to love cucumbers, and people can sometimes escape from an aggressive kappa by throwing a cucumber in its direction and run away while it eats a cucumber.
Carry around cucumbers. Got it.
But the first time I ever heard about a kappa was it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, the movie, not the game. Basically, the movie was like an adaptation of Turtles in Time, where they go to they travel back in time to feudal Japan, and the feudal lord calls them kappas because they look like kappa, and then he's even got scrolls where these kappa basically just look like the Ninja Turtles carrying weapons and stuff like that. So they kind of omit the the water in the head thing. But that was the first place I ever heard of a kappa. And they basically just said the kappas are demons and stuff like that. Whereas this is like in folklore, they're just like, again, like little trickster freaking like humanoid creatures and stuff like that.
Crazy.
Like it sounds like it would be, it's funny if it's like a little prankster who's like, farting and looking up girls' skirts and stuff like that. But then it goes into freaking like, we pull your intestines out of your ass and try to eat your soul. It's like, what the?
Yeah, that's a pretty broad spectrum.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a flip of the coin. You don't know which one you're going to get that day. But the thing that's really funny or like really weird is that they have the little like water or whatever, the little rain dish in their head, and if you can like empty it out, they'll just be like immobile. Yeah,
that's pretty interesting.
There was like a movie called Death Kappa from back in 2010. It's basically like I've never seen it, but I'm assuming the basis behind it is like an evil kappa trying to freaking kill some people or something. And then there's also a Pokemon that is modeled after a kappa called Lombre, where like it's got like a giant lily pad on its head, and that supposedly catches rain when it's when it rains. Catches rainwater when it rains and stuff like that. So it's a little kappa, but with like a sombrero on its head. But yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. That's one I've been keeping in the back pocket for a little bit.
It's a good one. Strange. Oh yeah, those look creepy. Nope.
Thanks for the night.
I also found the name of the book that I read when I was little about the Hodag. It's called The Terrible Hodag, and this is where I got the it's like a bull look from, because it looks kind of like it basically looks like a bull with looks like Stegosaurus plates on its back.
Jeez.
That's like a kid's book.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's got like an alligator tail. It looks like, and it's like as big as Paul Bunyan's Ox Babe, the blue ox. I think this is where it kind of ties into Paul Bunyan lore a little bit, because it's supposed to be like that big. Yeah, that's
crazy. That's creepy. Nope, pass.
The kappa.
The that Hodag picture too.
Oh.
The kappa for sure. The kappa. Nah.
Hey man, just carry around some cucumbers. Maybe it'll like some cucumber water or like cucumber flavor. Maybe it'll like that.
We have a special guest. What's up, buddy? What's up?
I want something water bottle.
Those are not water bottles. Is it time to eat, bud?
Those are beer cans.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm going to have to end it here for me.
No, yeah, I think we got pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
As long as you guys are good.
Just one last thing before we go. There is a comic book that has to do with like cryptids and urban legends and stuff like that I remember hearing about a long time ago by Brian Johnson and Walt Flanagan. It's called Cryptozoic Man, where they basically take like urban legends and cryptids and stuff like that and kind of mash them all up into a comic book series. So if you're ever interested, go ahead and check that out. It's called Cryptozoic Man. Other than that, that's all I've got, guys.
All right.
To look into
That's
that.
yeah. Nope.
All
No,
right.
the kappas are still giving me nightmares. I'm
Dude,
good.
yeah, those pictures are
Nope.
fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Carry around your cucumbers, folks. Especially
And-
if you're by a river or you're by a lake, body of water.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. All right, then. Well, I guess we'll leave it there. Thank you guys for tuning in this week. And yeah, carry around your cucumbers. Watch out for chupacabras and keep your tinfoil hats.
Oh yeah.
It's been real. All right, I've been your host for today, Dan, and see you guys next week.
Later,
Bye,
guys.
El cucuy.